You're listening to In Response, a legacy podcast. A show where three handsome guys talk about their favorite Magic the Gathering format, Legacy.
I'm Peter Plank, the artificer. I've got everything at hand in my Goblin Welder's toolbox.
I'm Daniel, the scientist. I ponder precisely about the next move that decides the fate of my opponents.
I'm Philipp Klein, the rogue. I use the graveyard to fuel opponents with agony.
And now, lean back and enjoy.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 75. Who let the frogs out?
Quack,
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 quack.
quack.
Off.
In response,
A legacy podcast.
I'm Philipp Klein
I am Daniel.
And I'm Peter Plank.
and we're talking about legacy.
Most of the time.
And we're starting off with an...
In response to the media. This is the section of the show where we talk about something happening within the community. And today we have a pretty special one, as it is like ban and restricted announcement day. And we have a few favorable sentences to relive history with unbanning Dreadhorde Arcanist or Deathrite Shaman.
Wait, what?
But first about Deathrite Arcanist, it's like really good or fully positive to the meta because you die always on turn 1 against Grief or Necrodominance, but first common and Grief, you discard Dreadhorde, reanimate Dreadhorde, next turn flashback reanimate on your Grief.
Wait, that was a little bit fast actually right now. You reanimate your opponent's Dreadhorde.
Dreadhorde
Arcanist.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That you discarded with grief.
Okay. So
That's the idea.
I don't think we should unban Dreadhorde Arcanist because where does it slot right in?
Delver?
Probably.
It was mostly in Delver. Probably, maybe Grixis Scaminator would be a thing. Flashbacking reanimates is nice, yeah?
It's like attack with Dreadhorde Arcanist, flashback, get a troll. Wow!
Entomb something. No,
No.
insanely
no.
broken. But now we get to the better part. I'm banning Dreadhorde Arcanist because, like,
You meant... Oh, talk about Dreadhorde Arcanist.
Deathrite Shaman, yeah. So they listed 4 positive sides of unbanning it in the current meta, and the positive sides is like mana fixing, because of like Wasteland and stuff like that. Graveyard hate because it's currently really important because of Grief. It heals you against tempo shells, and it can drain your opponent for the win. I think they listed the 4 parts why it should stay banned. Am I right, boys?
You're missing one very crucial part here why it should stay banned. Because everything that Deathrite can do, that slots right into Grief Scam.
Yeah, it just would be the answer for everything, and yeah, we would just be back. I mean, have you played Legacy in 2018?
I mean, actually, we get these questions also a lot of the time out of our community where people are asking, why is Deathrite banned? And it's always like, okay, now we know you haven't played Legacy back then. You're pretty new to the format. Because once you relive through that experience, it's so clear, crystal clear to you why this card should be... There shouldn't be a discussion about why this should be on the ban list.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we come to the good part for us. And this is to thank our patrons, am I right?
Thank you very much to our patrons, Christian Neutz, Matt Duncan, and Moritz Eichmer. Thank you very much. Your support means a lot to us. If you want to join them in this particular group of In Response enjoyers, just head over to patreon.com/response_legacy. And you can do us a huge favor if you subscribe to this channel on YouTube. We put the link in our show notes. And yeah, just like us. Great.
And another announcement we have is like in a few weeks we have the Austrian Legacy Masters, the biggest event in Austria for Legacy for the whole year. And Daniel, do you want to show us how the weekend will go?
Yeah, absolutely. So it will be a 3 2-day tournament and event from the 19th of July until the 21st of July. And we have 3 tournaments, all live streamed by us. And you actually have one Friday Night Magic FNM, warm-up FNM, then the Austrian Legacy Masters main event. And then on Sunday, we have the Season's End tournament that is connected to our Austrian Legacy League season, but is free for everyone to play. And the most exciting part about this is that we have 2 ELM European Legacy Masters qualifier slots to give away on Saturday and Sunday each. So if you have no plans on this weekend, make sure to sign up. Registrations are open. We will put the links down in the show notes and of course on YouTube, and you can find them as well on our social media platforms everywhere. We would love to see you in Linz and jam some nice paper legacy in Linz.
Also, the prices are now fixated, so on our socials you can see a very beautiful crafted picture of the prizes that we will give away when we reach the top or cap on players.
Exactly, yeah. So I think we have really a nice and rewarding set of prizes that is definitely, I think, one of the highlights of when you want to visit this event. So prices are high. We even have 2 slots to gain. So I think this is pretty high stacked for a Central Europe located country like us. So make sure to grab your slot and be there in the 19th of July.
And if you can't join because you live over the sea or way too far abroad, just join in on our Twitch channel for the live streams.
Exactly.
But with the good news out there, we have some really great news because we can enjoy the Grief meta game a little bit more. Am I right, boys?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and we can play Grief at the Austrian Legacy Masters. Woo-hoo!
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So, actually, your training. How do I say this? Your training for the Australian Legacy Masters you don't have to start anew. Am I right?
The process hasn't evaporated. But do you know my feeling about the ban and restricted announcement? It's grief.
So I think for context, we just got the newest bans and restricted announcement that was happening on the 24th of June on Monday. So it was no changes to all formats. But I think I personally was not too surprised to see this announcement because Modern Horizons just has dropped. And metagame is at the moment in experimental phase. We see a lot of new cards being tested, and it's a matter of how this all will settle. Of course, we see some trends, and we see still a lot of griefs up there. I think nobody can deny that, but they will have a closer look in August. This is what they said.
But I'm very expecting for today's Monday, for tomorrow's live stream. They will apparently tell more about the process of the ban and restricted announcement or the ban and restricting. So will be interesting what we get for reasons why you disregard the grief or elemental.
Yeah, I mean, one very huge thing for Wizards is probably that they have put old border version into Modern Horizons 3.
Of the grief,
Of grief, and it would be very naive to say that this has something to do with the non-banning of a very problematic card.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we made a short survey on our Twitter account where we asked our followers which card should either ban, and it was 71% wanted to have grief banned, 18% where they don't want to have anything banned, like that's basically what's happening right now, and I think only 8% were favored a Bowmaster ban.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a few other votes for like reanimate and stuff like that. But yeah, the overwhelming majority of our viewership or listenership is to ban the grief.
And I think just to comment shortly on this reanimate mentioning it, because we've seen this a couple of times already over the course of a couple of weeks, and when this discussion around grief might being too strong came up, I get the point a little bit, because reanimate is like the card that really pushes it over the top. If you grieve for once, it's like okay, but for one mana, if you can do it in one turn, it seems like almost like a never bad card thing, because particularly you can use your opponent's graveyard as well to reanimate any creature. But here is a lot of people are saying counter-wise, this is one of the identity cards that is the definition point of one archetype, which is the classic reanimator deck. And killing this deck with a reanimator ban for the sins of the new pushed cards like the grief would be maybe too far. I tend to agree with that personally, and that I would also not vote directly for reanimate for that reason.
Yeah, actually, I have to chime in on that. It's also for me, the nostalgia part plays a huge role also in why we are playing this particular format, and therefore I'm also advocating against the reanimate banning. Also, I think if the ban would happen, then there would be easily pushed cards that would fill the role. I mean, we have things like Feign Death, Malakir Rebirth, Ephemerate. I mean, I think, sure, they lose the Entomb package and everything. Also, they're still animate dead. And Exhume in the format.
And Dance of the Dead.
Dance of the Dead, Shallow Grave is only for legendary creatures, right?
The top creature of your deck.
The top creature.
Yeah.
So even Shallow Grave would work.
But those are all 2 mana, which is a big difference.
Yeah. I mean, it would negate the much more stronger start. I mean, Malakir Rebirth or like the Undying effects would be great for it. But overall, it feels like reanimated, as Phil said, like such a staple of the format. It feels like banning Brainstorm, Lines of Diamond or stuff like that. Because something new is way too broken. So I would love to see something other than reanimate go.
Yeah,
for sure.
But with the sad news out, it's time for some quacking. And I think we want to start with the newest deck of the format. It's so great that we have it here. It's Froginator. it's such a new shell. It's immaculate.
It's elegant.
It's elegant. So you just had like a deck that was off the top of the metagame. And now you slot out the 4 Orcus Bowmasters that were really great to because Bowmasters is so bad into mirror for Psychic Frog, and you have Froginator. It's basically Rescaminator with 4 Psychic Frogs. And
If you didn't get it, I mean, we're talking about the most the real breakout card of Modern Horizons 3 that we totally missed in the last episode. I mean, I think we talked very, very briefly about Psychic Frog, but we all haven't really had that much on the radar.
And now we come to a deck that is kind of in between like the Tempo Shell and the Grief Shell. We have now a deck that is a little bit like blue-black Delver, blue-black Scam. It's blue-black Quack, as we say. So it's a deck that plays another new card. It's Nethergoyf, together with Psychic Frog, the Grief Troll package, with Reanimators, Delvers, but without Entombs. So it's kind of tempo-ish. It has the punishing side of Grief Reanimate. It's
Dimir Scam / Delver.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
A little bit more low to the ground. I think it doesn't has the animate that.
No.
And no Entombs, so you totally miss out the combo part. So no attracts, no Grizzlebrand, no Archon of Cruelty, because the newest iterations of Scaminator playing nowadays are Grizzlebrand, because no bombers are to be seen. So you can safely draw 7 cards.
And you can safely give your frog +7/+7 also.
Oh, that's big brain time.
I mean, you can just make a big frog and attack also. If you, I don't know, it can come up. It's better synergy with the frog.
Is it time for Children of Koilos?
This deck, yeah. But this deck,
So we have to bring back Tin Fins. Here I said it.
but this deck that doesn't play any of those cards. It's just straight up scam basically package. The Netherglyphs are pretty much experimental at the moment. Yeah. So some decks play it, some decks don't. I think we're looking here at least as a 2-2 split of Delver and Glyph. Yeah. It remains to be seen if Netherglyph is really a good card. So far it doesn't strike as being too overpowered. Yeah. It's similar like Tamiyo. Those cards at the moment are played, but it's not a Tamoglyph like it was back in the days when it came out. So absolutely,
it's not everywhere. It's just okay.
And I don't know what you guys think, but a lot of SU blue-black, these kind of versions, either being Scam or Delver. What I noticed is that Go for the Throat is usually played at the moment, which is often in the sideboard.
Go for the Throat.
Yeah, it destroy target non-artifact creature.
Yeah. I thought to myself, it would be interesting to see why this card, because lately there is quite a bit of Dreadnoughts being also played in the tournament, in tournaments. And I thought to myself, why wouldn't it be better to play a card like Shoot the Sheriff? Which is
Shoot the Sheriff. It's
non-outlaw. It destroys a non-outlaw creature, and basically the only outlaw type.
Is it Slickshot?
No, it's a non-outlaw means there's a couple of creature types.
So no rogue, no assassin, no mercenary, and I think it's a fourth one, but I'm unsure which one it is.
And rogue is actually the most relevant one. So in Legacy at the moment would be present borrower, which would be the
and Dirty Voidwalker.
And Voidwalker, yeah.
Yeah, so these were the rogues that are played actually.
Is there not also one that can't target werewolves and vampires?
Yeah, but it's double black.
Okay, it's double black.
Yeah,
and also Go the Plank or something. It's also
double black for
non-pirate, non-merfolk creature.
Yeah, but double black is probably too harsh.
Yeah, that's a problem. Shoot the Sheriff is just one and a black.
It's same as Go for the Throat, just non-outlaw instead of non-outlaw. I guess it could be interesting at some point if we see too much Dreadnought.
Mm-hmm. Which comes up for the next deck, actually. It's blue-black Frognut. It's a really, really sweet list. It's blue-black. It plays in the 2-drop slot Orcish Bowmasters and Psychic Frogs, but also Dresstown to enable an evoked Null, not Muldrifter, and Deathrite and Dreadnought. Nuldrifter is an insanely cool card together with Dresstown or Stifle. Draws you 2 cards with it being on the stack. 4 for Body Annihilator, 1 for 3 or 4 mana most of the time. Is insane. Yeah. And Philipp.
Also, Nuldrifter is one of the cards that we missed also in the last episode. I'm pretty sure we haven't talked about it.
I think shortly we did, but I guess we did really underestimate how it impacted how it fitted
in the Dreadnought shells.
The Dreadnought shells. I was actually not aware that you could just use it like that Dresstown actually works that way, that you can prevent the evoke trigger.
And also that you don't prevent the card drawing trigger.
Yeah, because it's a cast trigger.
Yeah. And that's basically the thing that I for myself have missed when reading the card, because you can dress down it, you still draw the 2 cards. You can evoke it and stifle the evoke trigger, you still get the 2 cards. Mm-hmm. You can evoke it and draw 2 cards and then tell your opponent, now does it resolve? And maybe draw the stifle from the top, draw the doorkeeper from the top, draw the dress down from the top, just in the blind. And it's still, at the end of the day, it's still a 4/4 flyer.
Yeah.
which is great against any threats that Delver can have. It's besides Murktide, but it's also probably bigger than a Psychic Frog. The Annihilator 1 is insane. It accumulates so much card advantage over time that this card alone is simply how do I say this? This card alone gets a whole Dreadnought archetype to a whole new level. I mean, it doesn't really matter which colors we favor, but Nulldrifter has to be in a Dreadnought shell.
It's kind of the Uro that that Stiflenot always wanted. Mm-hmm. They played Uro for card advantage back in the days, but Uro was okay, but you need a lot of investment. It's kind of slow. I mean, it's a big threat, but it's kind of slow and
it makes the mana bad.
Yeah, exactly. It's heavy on the mana. And Nulldrifter, well, card advantage is a big threat, and it's a big end game creature that is perfectly fitting this shell overall.
And also, it's not pyroblastable.
Yeah.
Which is a huge bonus to all these decks over Murktide region, where it gets just hit with the same hate cards out of Grixis Delver or Rak Delver.
Yeah, it's a really, really sweet card.
And sweet deck, I think, overall, just blue-black Stiflenot. There are blue-white versions as well that basically have the same shell, just without frog and...
No Bowmasters, no frog, but Warkeeper Thrall
and Swords to Plowshares.
We have Jeskai, Bant is long forgotten now, so it's really a time to be a Dreadnought fan.
Yeah, Bant is now basically dead. It's the worst version, and it was never really a good version to begin with.
It was okay.
Yeah, because it didn't have anything besides Uro.
It's like the first kiss. It was okay, but it will always be special.
Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet.
I think...
we can wrap it up here. We have talked a lot about our most favorite frogs. So if you like what we are doing, consider following us here on YouTube and everywhere social media. It's @response_legacy on social media. And you can find me on Twitter. It's @FinnickMTG, PHINEKMTG. Peter, where can we find you?
I've got now to announce I have 2 places where you can follow me. You can follow me on Twitter or X as @UnicornLord, but the O in the Lord is a 0. And you can follow me on Instagram nowadays @Peter @painter_plant.
You almost messed that up.
So Daniel, where can we find you?
Same as always. You can find me on Twitter, which is @FlyingDelver.
Thank you very much.
In response. Yeah.
This was In Response, a Legacy podcast. If you enjoyed the ride, feel free to support the show by following, leaving a review, or subscribe on patreon.com/response_legacy.